Hey internets, it's the Magic Word with Paul.
And Diego.
And today we're going to look at the blue-green Commander 15 deck.
Ooh boy.
So the first one we're going to talk about is the guy on the box. It's Ezuri, the Claw of Progress.
Claw of Progress.
He costs 2 and a green and a blue for a 3/3 elf warrior. Whenever a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you gain an experience counter. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, put X/1/1 counters on a different target creature, where X is the number of experience counters you have.
Wow. And you can put in so many little creatures there to pump up those experience counters, and then have that guy pump up your guys. So that's just amazing right there.
So there's a couple things you can do with him. First off, you can play Avenger of Zendikar and get an experience counter for every land you control.
Oh. Ooh.
And you can also, do you remember the Sage of Hours from the Theros block?
I think so. What does that do again?
I think it's a blue and 1 for a 2/2. Whenever he gets targeted by a spell that you control, you put a 1/1 counter on him. And then if you remove 5 1/1 counters from him, you get to take an extra turn.
Ew.
So what you do with him and Ezuri is, on the beginning of your combat, you put 5 1/1 counters on him. You take an extra turn, and then you can attack with Ezuri, or you don't need to attack with the Sage of Hours. You can keep him back so he stays alive.
Wow.
And you just take another turn for the rest of the game.
Well, there you go. Those of you who like taking extra turns, I know a lot of you blue players love to do that. That just adds more to the flavor if you want to have this guy start doing stuff. If we go to our next card, Ezuri's
Predation. You said he reminds you of Predator.
Oh! Speak of the devil. I didn't even look at that card at my will. Costs 5 colorless and 3 green to cast his sorcery. For each creature your opponent controls, put a 4/4 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. Each of these beasts fights a different one of those creatures. Ooh, well that's cool. A lot of fighting. Gotta get the fighting going on.
So each opponent has their big army. Everyone's ready to fight, kill each other dead, and then you just play this thing. You get a beast. All your beasts fight them.
That's some real beast wars right there. That is amazing. That's pretty good. We get to the other legendary creature. I like this guy. He likes this guy.
Like this guy.
I hope you like this guy too.
It's Kaseto, the Orochi Archmage.
Orochi.
It costs 1, a green and a blue for a 2/2 Snake Wizard. Should have been a Snake Shaman, probably.
I don't know where they got Wizard from, but yeah.
They keep messing up
Wizards of the Coast. I don't know. Maybe they just did it.
Shamans of the Coast.
Shamans of the Coast.
Costs green and blue activated ability to get target creature can't be blocked this turn. Also, if the creature's a snake, it gets 2/2 until end of turn. And you can play the ability as much as you want. So
those snakes. Pump them up. That's just amazing. We get to Scythe Claw. Costs 5 for an artifact equipment with living weapon. Haven't heard that in a little while. When this enchantment enters the battlefield, put a 0/0 black germ creature token on the battlefield, then attach this to it. The equipped creature gets +1/+1. Okay. And the other part is, when a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half of his or her life rounded up. It's a equip 3 to equip it.
Wow.
Interesting.
So it costs more than a Quietus Spike.
Yeah.
But I guess that's because you get a 1/1 germ.
Throw the germ in, why don't you?
I would rather skip the germ and just play the Quietus Spike.
Those germs. Yeah. What's this one?
This is the Synthetic Destiny. It costs 4, 2 blue for an instant. Exile all creatures you control. Go through the top of your library until you get the same number of creatures that you exiled. Put them into play. So it's just like another
massive polymorph.
Yeah, it's like mass polymorph, but it's an instant instead of sorcery, which it makes it a lot better.
A lot better. You might get some bigger, better shit.
Yeah.
You never know. Depends on what you put in your deck.
In this green-blue deck that we've been talking about, where you already are going to play Avenger of Zendikar,
there you go.
Synthetic Destiny is going to come in handy.
Might poop it out. Your deck might just poop that card out, and then you get the profit of all that other stuff. That's just amazing.
Lots of big green and blue creatures.
Yes. We get to the green confluence, Verdant Confluence, which costs 2 green and 4 for a sorcery. Obviously, we all know what they all do. You can choose the same thing 3 times if you like, or however order you like. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Or return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Or search your library for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. Oh, I like that. You know what? When I'm looking at the converted mana cost of this, it costs the same as Restock. But Restock can only get 2 cards. This can get 3 cards.
But Restock is 5.
Is it 5?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
But still, this doesn't exile itself.
Right, it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. So it's in a way, you just get an extra card for 1 extra mana for that, so all that.
That's still worth it.
And you get, double 2 counters on certain creatures that you target.
Yeah.
Or you search for 3 lands, put them into play tapped. Basic lands, that is.
Well,
that's pretty good.
The same. Rampant Growth costs 2, Explosive Vegetation costs 4, this costs 6, so that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. So that was pretty decent, pretty good. Yeah. We get to the interesting, what I call Spider Fog, in a way. It's Arachnogenesis. Costs 1 green and 2 to put X 1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach onto the battlefield, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-spider creatures. Ooh, I love that card already. That's just amazing. The whole non-spider thing, that's just cool. Oh, what do you think of that? That's just pretty cool.
Yeah, I like fogs that have a little bit of different on them so that you can play the fog to your advantage. So with this one, you can make it so that you can prevent all combat damage, but then you can use all the spiders you've created to maybe take out some of their creatures in the process.
Right, because they will live and they won't take any damage.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Those spiders are just badass right there. Yeah. Those are pretty mean spiders. We get to our next card. The cool land that I think everyone's talking about, that I think will probably go on every commander deck, in my opinion. Command Beacon. Now, I know a lot of you have seen this. It's a rare land that taps for 1 colorless, or you can tap it and sacrifice it to put your commander into your hand from the command zone. Wow. That makes a lot of things feasible now, like Phage the Untouchable. In fact, high-costing commanders will go right to your hand, so you don't have to keep paying that extra stuff. All that stuff that eventually will accumulate during time.
So I think you probably, if you just like to play a deck that plays the general a bunch, and it keeps getting killed because it has to be killed, it's a really good general. Well, by maybe the 3rd or 4th time, you can just use the Command Beacon instead, skip the command tax that turn, and maybe by that time, you can win the game.
Right, and maybe if you're playing Crucible Worlds, throw that bad boy in there and get that land back, and then I'd say just start abusing the shit out of this land. So.
I know those Titania players out there are going to go nuts on this card.
Yeah, I think I'll go nuts on this card. I got to have that. Got to poop out those elementals and do things at the same time. That just is screaming her name right there. So those are the new cards for green and blue. I'm excited for that deck. That has some good stuff. I know you are because you have your own little...
Like the snakes.
The snakes. Definitely the snakes are very flavorful. I like that. Still thinking about that spider fog and all that stuff. But all this stuff and Mr. Claw Progress. But that's the green and blue deck. I enjoyed it as much. I hope you enjoyed it too.
Definitely.
And like I said, they come out November the 13th. Remember to get one of those decks, or all of them, however you want. And I know we'll be getting our own stuff from it as well.
Definitely. So we will see you next time, Internet.